Hey, thanks for coming by. You told me that you wanted my opinion about something. What's up? Um, I didn't want to talk about this to anybody else because I thought they were gonna laugh. You know that I wouldn't tease you about anything. You know that. Just what do you need my opinion about? You 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 promise you won't laugh. I promise I won't laugh. Okay? What do you want my opinion about?
Look here, you're gonna make my butt look big.
I mean, wait. Oh, shall we?
Hello. I wanted to make a quick video trying to explain a concept that I find very close to my heart. My apologies in advance for not signing, but I want to just speak because I'll make this go a little bit faster. So, I've had a few people in the past get confused and ask me why it is that I'm always trying to be a jokester. I call myself a budding comedian or attempted comedian. Now, I've made comment about this before, offhandedly, on Facebook. I made a comment something along the lines of, if I stopped trying to make jokes, then you know something is dreadfully wrong. I believe that there are a few set levels to expression. Not the expressions people speak, but the way they express themselves. And in a minute you'll understand why I chose that word. One of them, I demonstrate. I suffer from depression to a slightly lesser degree now than I did previously, but I suffer from depression. It is not diagnosed, but it's pretty stinking obvious to anybody who knows me well. I have always told people, if they ask me, being a joker is my way of distracting myself from what causes me to be depressed. So if I stop joking, you know I'm getting dangerously depressed and it's actually getting to me. Okay. Occasionally, not very often, but occasionally there are moments when the depression is minor. I don't feel as depressed as I normally do. I still usually act like a goofball, act like an attempted comedian. I'm a jokester, whatever you want to call it. In those moments, me being a jokester is out of habit. It's just what I always do. So it switches from me trying to distract myself and avoid being depressed as a life-saving mechanism to I'm just being me, doing my thing. Now, that's one end of that spectrum. Attempting to cope is basically what it is. If you boil it down, is my method of coping. What is another method of coping? And why did I even bring this up in the first place? Well, that's simply because about 2 weeks ago, I believe, I genuinely was so low that I contemplated doing something extremely bad. I have since decided against it for relatively obvious reasons. Well, obvious to people who are around me can see my life. But I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say what I was contemplating doing because of YouTube policies. So I will say it this way, and I will let you guys decipher it for yourself from what I'm saying vocally and from the captions that are going across the screen. I almost decided to be a serial unaliver. Now, why did I contemplate that? And this is something, the main reason why I'm making this video. This is something that I do not appreciate in the majority of human beings. I happen to be able to straddle a fence, to stand in two spheres at the same time. It's an annoying gift and curse that I've been given. I can stand in the hearing world and in the deaf world. I can stand in the Christian world and in the non-Christian world. I can stand in the autistic world and in the non-autistic world. I just constantly stand at the doorway between worlds. One of those happens to be I stand between the happy and unhappy. So, what is something that people don't usually think about? When you are really sad, when you are depressed, when you are angry, all of the above, when one or more of those hit you at any given time, you need an outlet, some way to disperse what's going through your system. That is what most people don't understand and basically start judging everyone around them for. For example, and I love using this example because it's a person that I kind of empathize with because I understand his reasoning. His reasoning is a little off, but I understand what was going through his head. Research it later. There's a man called John List / Bob Clark. He unalived his family because he decided that the world was too corrupt and they should just go on to the great beyond, if you want to think of it that way. Okay? Now, why did he do that? The world's horrid. He's not wrong, or he wasn't wrong. So, you kind of get a slight idea of what I'm starting to get at here. Now let's go look at why I was contemplating doing it. I was super low, depressed, angry, and I had no vent. No safe way to get it out of my system. So what I decided eventually, and thank God for this, something came along that helped dissipate it. But at the time, I had decided that if this is just the way it is for me, then I want everyone else to know how I feel, to feel my pain. It's a bad mentality, but there's always some element of truth to every wrong. Bob Clark / John List, his element of truth was the world is bad. The world is corrupt. The world is sinful. But it wasn't his place to take his family out of it yet. That wasn't his place. Would it be nice if everybody could empathize with the pain that I experience or experienced? Yeah, it would be. But it isn't my place to force everyone to experience it. And that is where the crux of this video comes in. Really horrid way to bring this subject up, but this is something that I think is horrible with society. Myself and everyone around me has the exact same problem. Some people to a lesser extent than others. My opinion does not supersede yours. Your opinion does not supersede mine. Just because I would love it for everyone around me to empathize with and understand my pain does not give me the right to make them. But at the same time, just because, as my youth pastor loves to say, just because Joe Snuffy down the road thinks that everyone around him should be vegans, random example, does not mean it's up to him to start going to every house down the block and arguing with them on their doorsteps about why it's horrible that they're eating meat and non-vegan products. I just realized that's vegetarian, not vegan. But you get the idea. People nowadays, anyone, left wing, right wing, middle, neutral, anyone nowadays, and everyone does not grasp that just because your opinion is this does not mean that supersedes everyone around you. Be very careful that you don't become a John List.